Does everyone understand the process of breathing? Taking in O2, expanding the chest cavity, then contracting the carbon that's been diluted through your body's natural filter. On the count of three, let's inhale together. 1, 2, 3, inhale. They tell me to breathe life into this poem. Make it come alive, put everything inside my body onto the page. Don't be afraid to be honest. And honestly, I'm not really sure what that means. Come alive when I can't even process the constant battle of circling around the air in my chest. So now I'm known as a shit talker. Voids boxed into categories. This type of oxygen be fire bending. Burning the idea of conversation norms, creating smoke screens. How am I supposed to breathe when the air in the room is not made for me? Bubble baby, I inadvertently made myself an outcast. Breathing has always been difficult. Exhale. I remember the first time I had an asthma attack. My body fought me. It threw its dukes up and said that we need a break from breathing. My lungs dropped to my hips. I lost my sight. My knees buckled that day, and let's just say I haven't really stood upright since until I made poetry my lungs. But now, my lungs are collapsing. I don't know CPR. I can't predict reaction. Inhale. How do I make this poem come alive for you when you're already dead inside? Nor are you looking to get back in touch with who you are. Rather breathe in smog than take in the truth dead in front of you, all around you. Exhale. Say this poem should be heavy. But I don't like heavy breathing. I get winded. I feel faint. My pipes seem rusty. These hard gulps to remind me of that time that I almost drowned in Somerville Lake. How do I make this poem breathe when I'm down on bended knee? My back is cracked, esophagus pressed to the back. I'm gasping for your understanding. I'm gasping for the parallel vertical airs of my larynx to finally be open. I'm gasping for air. Inhale. Everybody wants to talk about breathing life, but never check to see if the oxygen levels are right. Is the amount of carbon compatible? What if I want to breathe death into my poems? Let every poem mean the funeral of a broken habit. Pull away from the shock, say defibrillator, and let my heart fade out like my favorite song until finally, I'll be able to exhale peacefully. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Exhale.
We're going to keep this going, folks.
Hear me out. I have a very controversial thought, and a lot of people gonna come for me, call me, pick me, like, okay, whatever. If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
What?
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
Get your food! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God, I said one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
We are going to begin this evening with a vicious attack that again raises questions about the criminal justice system.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket. But because we know that we are covered by this societal norm that men shouldn't hit women, we feel as though we can provoke men. We can talk any kind of way. We can throw things at men. Look at Brittany Renner the other day, y'all. If this whole societal norm that men shouldn't hit women weren't around, and Brittany had thrown that water on the guy and she knew the consequences of that would have been a nice solid brick or fist to the face, I bet she wouldn't do it.
6:14 now. New disturbing details emerging this morning in the deadly shooting of a woman who police say was killed by a former University of Alabama basketball player.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
Mother, DeCarla Cotton, a man approached her daughter and started flirting with her at the restaurant. Harris declined his advances, causing an altercation. Cotton says as her daughter and her boyfriend were leaving, a man shot multiple times into their vehicle. Harris's boyfriend fired back in defense. Authorities say Miles, along with the second suspect, are both charged with capital murder.
But we walk around protected, so we can be unruly, we can be uncivilized. But if more men were supposed to say, you know what, forget that, fist for fist, If you hit me, expect this fist or brick.
Adiós.
Vaya preso porque ahorita voy por
Adiós. Adiós.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket. If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad. Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black she is everything, so black she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words, but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says bitch I might be, says nuck if you buck, then says wipe me down. Kettle says yes my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says hell yes, but don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Checking out the mic. Cyber, am I still on the echo side?
Not anymore.
Okay, cool. Let me do some shout outs, Cyber, and then from there, if you don't mind, maybe you could take lead on this. What do you think?
Give me like 10 minutes. I'm trying to get some food and head to the house.
Oh, I hear that. Got you covered.
Hey,
Hey, you gotta
use my
eat.
debit here. They tripping. Hold on.
Okay, take your time. In the house, Soul Taker. In the house, Rikari Gaming. In the house, Benji Matsu. In the house, Miss RV. In the house, Bridget Mouton. In the house, Sassafras. In the house, Cyber Dreams. In the house, Femi from the Cat. In the house. Oh, I'm in the house too. We're going to keep this going. We're going to keep it going. Here we go.
I'm back with another triggering topic. And today I want to talk about the Black woman and the POC woman. And I really want Black women to know that we are not a part of the POC community and never will be. And I think a lot of times that women who are not white want to hide under the POC title so that they can culturally appropriate, blackfish, and behave as caricatures of Black women.
Shout out to darling Nikki as well.
And pretend that it's okay because they have some melanin or a drop of ancestral Black blood. And you know what? I'm tired of it, because the minute they get mad or a Black woman attempts to gatekeep any of their identity, then they go on an anti-Black tirade. Oh, well, Black women, you're a roach, you're a monkey, you're an ape, you have nappy hair, you're a Blackie, you're beneath me, your men want me and not you, etc., etc. Or if they want to use the N-word without being checked, then they try to hide behind this POC title or this fake Afro-Latina title or this biracial, I'm Black because I have 10% Black ancestry title that they don't even believe in, just to get you to shut up. And I'm going to give y'all some names to some big time offenders. And I already know that some of y'all are going to be mad at me, but I'm still going to give y'all some names in no particular order. Sin Santana, Jennifer Lopez, Danny Lay, Erica Mena, Evelyn Lozada, Amber Rose, and Cardi B, to name a few. And I know I missed some. But I just really want y'all to know that these women are not your friends. They're not your allies. They're not Black women. And they do not consider themselves to be Black women unless it's convenient, unless it's to cover up their anti-Blackness and racism. If they claim Black anything or African anything, mark my words, if you look deep enough, you will see that there is something that is going to benefit them. When there's money to be made, or they want to use the N-word with the A on it, or even the N-word with the R on it, okay? Or they're seeking access to our culture or to Black men. And I really need Black women to understand, once again, that we have no allies. We have no friends in these women that are perceived to be, quote unquote, preferences amongst Black men. They are put on a pedestal, and they do indeed believe the hype that they are above Black women. And as a Black woman, you must act accordingly. We must keep our circle tight and gatekeep our image and the image of the fully Black woman. But you know what? Y'all even let me know if this is something that y'all even want to talk about or discuss, because to be honest, I don't even know how many Black women will actually like this video or feel what I'm saying, because I saw so many Black women defending Erica Mena that it really took me by surprise. It was really shocking and saddening to me to see it. So now I don't even know what to believe, but y'all let me know. Anyway, if y'all can't donate to my Cash App above on the screen to help support the channel.
Let me pause it right there, just in case you want to get her Cash App, protect Black women. Remember, I have Cash App too, but Protect Black Women has Cash App. She's been out here doing a lot of work. Please subscribe to her if you haven't already. Hit the like on her channel. Don't forget to hit the like here on this channel. And like, subscribe. You know the deal. You know the deal. We're gonna keep this going, but I want to make sure that I get some participation from the crowd as well, because the dynamic tonight is colorism as it pertains to Black women / women of color, whatever you want to call it. It does not have to do with Black men. It has little to do with Black men, because not tonight. This is a BWE station. That's how we roll. So I'm going on to the next one. Well, before I start, I'm sorry, Cyber, you there?
Let's keep in mind that colorism is not a tool used by white supremacy. The definition of colorism is basically prejudice from the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism was a tool adopted by Black males stemming back from the 1868, I believe, to substantiate their masculinity. And then I go on and expound on that after your next clip.
Gotcha.
So this is nothing
Well
new,
said.
ladies.
This I am not going to be I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This could be upsetting to some people out there. This is a video that I saw from Femi from the chat this morning, and it hit the spot. It's going to say something to you. Here we go.
What's up, y'all? So, okay, I can't remember what video this was from, but I was on the DOD's page. I think we was talking about dark-skinned babies or something. I don't know. But the guy asked me, "You're not even dark-skinned, so why are you fussing for?" And I'm going to let you know this is why.
What's wrong? Put your hand down. Stop crying. What did you say? Say what you said. But you're not ugly. My kid's not ugly. None of my kids are ugly. People gonna talk about you regardless if you got your hair braided, if you got it done or not. People gonna talk about you regardless. People just always gonna find something to talk about. You gotta learn to ignore people. This is just something that some people go through. Is it right that people talk about you? No, but people gonna talk about you regardless. You gotta turn the other cheek, baby, and ignore them. If not, you're gonna be fighting.
What are the odds? I can bet $1,000 that the people that told this little girl that were little black boys. What you think?
I couldn't agree more. I think you're spot on.
Because they have to teach these young boys this tool, because when they grow up, they're going to realize that they're on the bottom. Like I said before, this is a tool used to substantiate their masculinity. Colorism is predicated on the black man's masculinity. I digress.
Well said.
And the rest of your life, every time somebody says something about you, you're gonna be fighting. You gotta learn to ignore that kind of stuff.
Now, this was heartbreaking to see. I don't know if it breaks your heart. And I'm talking to the men who like to sit up there and make fun of dark-skinned women's looks, right? I don't know if this is funny to you. Does this tickle your heart when you see a little girl crying because somebody was making fun of her? Let's go to the next clip.
Yeah, you know what's sad? Yeah, Cyber, you nailed it so hard that basically, believe it or not, you can see the same construct of what we just saw with this young lady little girl being shamed. It's playing out right now, right here in the manosphere. It's these are probably the same dudes that were little kids that shamed this young lady here, this little girl, probably the same dudes talking smack about black women right now.
Yeah, and it stems from over 200 years.
Yeah.
It's a tool that they use, ladies. You have to realize this is nothing new. This colorism didn't start in the 90s. And it's taught down the generations of males. It is taught down because they have to have some type of superiority, because when they realize they not shit when they grow up and past the age of 18, they're going to need these under their belt.
Clip.
She got every right to be on this app, post whatever video she wants to post, bragging about herself, saying how good she feel about herself without being fucked with by any one of y'all. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Some of y'all are old enough to have daughters her age and even granddaughters her age. And I'm quite sure you wouldn't want somebody doing that to your daughter, whether you know them or not, whether it's on the internet or not, or whether it's in person or not. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. This girl right here is suffering bullying all around the internet and some of y'all got pretty large platforms. We're talking hundreds of thousands of followers. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Stop this shit and take them videos down. I'm just trying to tell you, leave this girl alone.
Something that he said, like, would y'all want somebody doing this to your nieces also? I wouldn't want anybody doing that to my niece. And I don't want people doing it to other people. And if my niece looks like this girl, her grew up with this low self-esteem, that men are going to challenge her about her self-esteem as she gets older, right?
You know what,
and it doesn't
what's crazy?
stop.
That a black male seed created her as well.
Exactly. I mean, I grew up in the city of the N word, where, unfortunately there weren't too many of us there. And they didn't shame my family member, my sisters, or other young black girls nearly as much as these little black boys do. It's crazy.
That's why it's
I'm
imperative
shocked.
that we teach our daughters not to put their images online. She's too young to put her image on there. If I was her mother, that's a no-go. I have a 14-year-old daughter. She cannot put her image online under no circumstances. No TikTok, no Facebook, nothing.
It doesn't stop as you get older. It doesn't stop. Let's take a look at this next clip.
Gorgeous. Truthfully, I am gorgeous.
You know the thing that threatens people the most about Whoopi Goldberg? The fact that she don't care what you think. She gonna just show up authentically as Whoopi Goldberg, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Because I swear there used to be a hate campaign to convince us that this woman was ugly, and let's be clear, she ain't never been ugly. Look at them eyes, piercing, cheekbones, facial structure, everything, she got it. Whoopi looks like a lot of people in your family, but it's rare for a black woman that looks like Whoopi to make it to the A-list, command big checks, and star in all the major films. That's why back then, every single interview always brought up her looks and said she was so confident despite them. That's why critics would actually be talking about her looks instead of her actual performance. That's why there were so many TV shows back then where she wasn't even on it, and she was still the punchline about how ugly she was. And I hope she don't never forgive any of y'all that laughed at those jokes. But they were right, though, because Whoopi is very confident, because despite the fact that the very industry you're in is always constantly lambasting your looks, you stay true and authentic to yourself. Whoopi has her own self-worth. She doesn't need it from anybody outside of her. What's most beautiful is they tried to break her, but she didn't let them.
I wanted to go in like a chronological order from from
What's
the
funny,
youngest
Tori?
child to the middle.
That the oldest recorded bones in history was of a black woman. We are the people who birth all nations. If you break down the DNA of a black woman, she can create blue eyes, green eyes, light skin, dark skin, fair skin, cocoa brown, caramel.
That's an excellent point, and which it makes colorism even more devastating and more sad, because our own men, our own people, and women too, are shaming a quality that we only have, that we only have, of the variations of colors and qualities that we can be. Let me kick some more shout
I think that
outs.
women picked it up. Women picked it up because they were in survival mode.
Yes. And it's funny, but it's funny. I think when I objectively think about it, and what I saw my sisters go through in a non-African American situation, and this was a long time ago. This is back when there was way more, bigotry. But I compare it now, and I see that it's more of black men in our culture shaming not only for skin color, but hair texture, whether a woman wants to wear a wig or not. I mean, it's like it's I know tonight is about colorism, but there are some peripheral things as well. I mean, there's the skin color we have the skin color itself, and then there are the qualities of hair texture. You can't really take that out of being a part of colorism. Color is not color. It's not just color. There's so many different other little things, bone structure and everything that black women have to go through, that black men shame them for. Oh, you look like you're from African or something like that, or something like that. And it's these men don't realize how much they're shaming themselves by showing a claim for non-black features along with the skin color.
Yeah, without the woman's genetics and the MRA, they wouldn't have what they have as black males. See, I'm an advocate for separation, black women being a separate class. Black males have always separated themselves from black women. Always. It's time that we do the same.
You know, that's true. Come to think of it, that is true. I mean, it kind of makes me think about when I did that video on Bro Code on how black men will live or die for each other. Think about it. We live and die for each other when you think about it. Look at, I mean, when these black men go out here and start getting in gunfights and stuff, they're not getting in gunfights with black women, are they? They're not getting into gunfights about black women either. So when you think about it, you nailed it once again, Cyber, because the only way I can see, black men always say, okay, we don't need, we don't want, or we are not willing to defend black women. But guess who's the first to grab their gun when they heard their buddy, when they heard their buddy, you know, Tyrone or James is in trouble? They go out of their way to get in their car and go to imminent danger in getting in a gunfight for another man, regardless of skin color. That's the funny part. It's regardless of skin color. Oh, he light skinned. He all right. He light skinned. Don't worry about him. Just let him get his.
That's not true, Torch. If you look at the last NBA draft, you didn't see no dark chocolates in there. And guess who had the highest complaints? Black males.
That's in the basketball. That's something else. That's something else. That's something else. But think about it. I know I'm kind of bleeding in a little bit of what would you call it? You call it the erotic?
Eroticism.
Yeah. But
it does make sense though. That you gotta, I've learned that colorism was a tool that these males picked up 200-300 years ago.
Right.
And to see the NBA draft with all these mulattoes that are males who have black fathers, to hear them say all of the sentiments that they said, it just proved that they are the progenitors of colorism.
Boom.
And subconsciously, they need black women to feel like they have this physical superiority. Without the black woman, you wouldn't be this great physical specimen.
That's very true.
To an adult, to let you see how when his mother had told her daughter that some people are just going to get talked about. And I think she said like it'll stop when she get older. I can't remember, but it doesn't stop. And I don't think that she had enough heart to tell her daughter that you're probably going to get bullied for the rest of your life because black people, especially black little boys, don't have an appreciation for your looks, probably because maybe their fathers didn't have an appreciation for your looks and they never taught them that. I used to date this guy, right? And he told me that his mother taught him. His mother had to teach him to have an appreciation for dark-skinned women. So he says he loves dark-skinned women. And I feel like that's not instilled enough. And it was so crazy. I mean, she was dark-skinned, so she felt the need to teach him that. So he doesn't do that towards like dark-skinned women, but there's a lot of men and women that do, because we heard Crimson the other day that if you don't look a certain way, you're automatically ugly. If society told you that, how the guy said there was a campaign to convince us that Whoopi Goldberg was ugly, and I remember this as I was growing up. This is where I'm really confused when men be on the internet talking about women's self-esteem. Like they weren't there, or like they weren't contributing to the breakdown of the self-esteem of young Black girls. There's so many men that sit up on here that talk about weaves and lashes and whatever, BBLs or whatever. Like they weren't the contributors to the self-esteem of young Black women. And now they sit up on the internet and talk about it every day as if they're confused as why a Black woman might have a lower self-esteem, as they're confused why a Black woman might want to adorn herself with certain accessories, because while she was little, she was getting beat up in the back of the class and she was getting shunned and clowned and whatever the words are. But it's like it's like men be acting like they confused by a woman, and everybody.
Maybe that's a pretty good point Femi made, because you know, Cyber, you see how we have this situation with the brick. Really, the brick is a much bigger issue. We have dudes trying to bite out young Black women's eyes. Maybe this bullying, this degradation did start when these women were little girls, and these dudes got trained to think this way back then. Look at the adorable little girl right there. She has to deal with it from her own people.
Because they need a head that, see, you got to understand these males need a head start in their superiority complex. They need a head start. So when they are failing in life, they can fall back on their superiority delusions. Not only is colorism a tool that was created by them, they also adopted the sexism of the world that has subjugated women since the existence of time.
Let's go on to the next one.
You know, dark skinned women, I don't really like dark skinned women. Like,
now there was a practice they used to do in Egypt where they would sit in the sun a certain way and do things, and the darker you was in Egypt, the higher your status was in Egypt. The darker you was, and the darker your skin, the bigger your aura. That's a fact, right? So the darker your skin, the bigger your aura. Now, you, of course, through spiritual work, you can increase the power of your aura. But I'm trying to tell y'all that also very, very dark people have a huge aura. They have a bigger aura because of the energy that their melanin is giving off. You know, it's being energized. So also, a darker skinned person was naturally given. If they were trained the same way, a darker skinned person would naturally have more. Would be more smarter than a lot of other people. This is all from and Brother Bobby Hemmett talked about this as well. But this is all how Egypt ran. If you was darker, you had more class, in so many words. So melanin is a form of chaos, but
a melanin thing. Because the more melanin you have, the more.
Let me pause this right now. This is another one from Femi from the chat. She's dropping them perfectly.
You know, melanin has been studied for hundreds of years. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, I do. That is amazing.
And what's funny that these males who have no economic power, no political power, no social stance, think by them saying, "I don't like dark-skinned women," it puts them on some type of hierarchy pyramid. They really think this way.
It's crazy.
Like you are. The more melanin you have, the more spiritual you are. The more melanin you have, the more intelligent you are. The more melanin you have, the more human you are. That's why we gauge human beings by that. It's a humanizing chemical.
Her blood was that primordial cosmic carbon substance. 666, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, carbon. Akash, which means black substance. Akasha, you get the word Akashic records, which means melanin. Her blood was this primordial water, a primordial substance, which was like a mercurial water, a black liquid water that was destroying the liquid water separated from it, caused the ocean, and the other blackness is in space and in man. But she has a cosmic thirst and a need for water, or liquids. So melanin is the God particle of the Great Mother. It is what is called something that is left behind. Our world is built on several other primordial worlds that existed
Stop
before
it, Tor, stop
creation.
it. Now, this basically, this is what these fake hoteps get the black woman as God. Now, for them to have all this influence and stuff like that, why didn't the community change towards black women if they was peddling in this black woman is God bullshit?
Those worlds that existed before creation is the realm of the Great Mother, or it is the realm of Tiamat, which now exists in something left behind in us, black people.
Hey y'all, it's me from the chat. And to my melanin, I like to think my melanin. To my melanin, I like to think my melanin. Look at me with my colorful aura around me, right? Where I get that from? I get that from my melanin. It's amazing that how some of us, men or women, are so ashamed of our blackness. And this is when good parenting and good teaching comes in, because we owe it to our children to develop this self-esteem that comes with the melanin, so they don't feel like this man right here is saying, oh, a dark-skinned girl look funny beside me. I wish I had that meme that said, what, nigga? That football player or basketball, I don't know who he was, and he had green on. What?
Can I address that comment? Colorism is not racism. Let's not convolute the terms. Colorism is a tool that was created by black males. The definition of colorism is basically prejudice against individuals typically by the same ethnic or racial group. We have to understand that this is something that they have created in order to substantiate their masculinity in a conquered state.
Do you understand what you dissing when you diss a black woman, or you dissing somebody's blackness, or you dissing their features? You dissing our creativity. Our creativity is what's making this world go around right now. That's why TikTok and all these apps is so popular, because of us. You want to stand next to a black woman, make you look funny, but you on this app every day that we all help create. When you dissing melanin, you dissing when you dissing a black person, you're dissing our ability to adapt. You know why that these passport bros could go to these other countries and feel settled? Because our melanin gives us the ability to adapt to different things very quickly, might I add. Our melanin helps us see better, hear better, smell better, taste better. That's why when we eat these foods made by these Mexicans and other culture, it don't taste like nothing. It don't taste like nothing. because our taste, all our senses are heightened. So, they food might taste good to them, but it don't taste good to us because the chemicals that we have in us are stronger. It makes us better humans.
Okay, I'll pause it right there.
She's saying, I don't see, you have to, I appreciate your opinion, but colorism in North America was created. You have to understand that white males, racism is basically putting your entire nationality ahead of all other groups. Colorism was projected on Black women by Black men. Back in the day, white supremacy didn't like neither the Black male, the Black woman, nor the Black child. So white people didn't create colorism.
Christmas is right around the corner, so why?
Oh, you a sellout, Goofy. They don't even like us. Look at this clown. Goofy. Asshole. Oh, that's you, man. I see you, baby. I see you. You got your little guy slow, buddy. I like that.
Thoughts? Welcome, Amiri. Welcome, NCL. Welcome, Miss RV. Welcome, Prism. Welcome, All Heart and Grind. Welcome, Alexander Brennan.
She's saying that what I'm saying is false. I mean, I would love for you to hit the link and educate me, please. The paper bag rule was perpetrated by who?
Kevin's in the house. Femi's in the house. Amiri's in the house. Welcome, Amiri. Alexander's in the house. Indiana Mom is in the house. Melanated Vessel is in the house. Melanated says this: colorism is known, it is now different and as problematic as racism. Correct. The lies about it only being about men / dating and not resources is akin to telling blacks racism is just about not liking you.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
everything evolves.
Yeah, true. Let's keep this going. So I guess this is the thing where the black man had to fight to be around the Caucasian woman, and now he's being reveled for it. Everybody's cheering and everything. Yes, Yolando's is in the house as well. Well, let me keep this going.
Christmas is right around the corner, so why not give somebody with a wonderful turmeric bar that will help them to have healthy, clear, glowing skin? You can go to MelaXcosmetics.com to pick up the Mela X Gold Beauty Bar. A lot of people have been reporting their positive results, and if their skin is not 100% cleared yet, their skin is on the road to recovery, or you could just use it as a cleanser. Use code CBR35 for 35% off, and go to the link in the description box to click and make a purchase today. Hey, you guys, shout out to my subbies Toya, Dark Skin Women Are Gorgeous, and the rest of you on Twitter. Thank you to all of you, as well as my boos on Instagram, which you guys should be following me on Instagram at ParisMilan_YT. They were sending me viral group chat of white women completely obliterating black men and telling the truth. And this stemmed from another post that was going viral of a famous soccer player named Alfonso Davies, who's in an interracial relationship. In this video, I think it's important for us to learn how to know when to mind our business, stay out of things that aren't necessarily our battle, and how that also contributes to masculinizing our image at the same time decreasing our desirability. So please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you thumbs the video up, and let's get into my commentary. Alfonso Davies was born November 2nd, 2000, and he is a Canadian professional soccer player who plays as a left back or winger for Bundesliga club Bayern Munich in the Canadian national team. He was born to Liberian parents at a refugee camp in Buduburum, Ghana. His father,
Oh, Pax is in the house as well. Welcome, Pax.
Davies, and his mother, Victoria Davies, lived in Monrovia, which is the capital of Liberia. They had to flee during the Second Liberian Civil War, which displaced more than 400.
See, the topic is colorism. We have to stop blaming everything on white people. Can we stop doing this?
It's not that it's the subject is about Caucasian people. It's about the reasons why. But I agree with you. The reason, because I thought about this when I was putting it on. I said, I'm putting it on. But you have to see that part of what colorism is about these black men wanting their proximity to whiteness. So, because it's not just, I mean, that's why they want like a light-skinned or ambiguous-looking black woman more than, let's say, they want a conventional and often gorgeous black woman.
Listen, there's an old Chain Gang song talking about, I don't want no dark-skinned woman. White people didn't make these dudes sing that song. It's recorded.
That's true.
Now, unless you were white passing, you have to understand the history. Unless you were white passing, then you can get into certain doors. But if you had an ounce of negroid hair or anything, you were considered black. White people didn't look at light skin this and light skin that. It's either you were white passing or you were not. Colorism was created by black males as a tool to substantiate their masculinity in a failed state.
Yeah, we have somebody, proximity to whiteness. Is it that serious? It absolutely is. Basically, if it wasn't, we would not be getting the same responses we see in our culture that we do now. Black men, we quite honestly, I don't think black men, we have a problem with their skin color. We have a problem culturally. We obviously don't value each other's lives that much because that proof's in the pudding.
See, mulattoes, don't you know there were mulattoes in Germany as well during what I think it was World War I or II? They called them bastard children. Do y'all know that black males went overseas in the war and created all these babies and left? they had to put them in their own cities and make orphanages.
Let me go to.
They've been the creators of it. Either you was white passing or you not. White people didn't differentiate. Okay, you got this much black, you got this much black. They didn't do that. Either you was black or white passing.
Thing. I ain't say you could say whatever.
Wait, let me go back.
Now, are you and Alex together anymore?
No, she took off, and whatever.
And you're healing from the loss of me, and then
I wish her well. I mean, life has a way of whatever you deserve, you'll ultimately get. And that's fine, you know?
Hey, you guys, shout out to y'all. I hope everybody is doing well. This is going to be one of my longer videos.
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna digress. Don't you know that in the 1100s, Spain sent over 600 Spaniard males to whitewash Mexico? See, white people understand DNA. They discovered that it only takes 3 generations to whitewash melanated people. So by them graping and procreating with black women and then taking those children and procreating with them again with their DNA, you got a lot of white people in 2023 that have Negroid DNA in them. So they understand genetics.
Me on Instagram, alerting me that Dusty Dan got left by his side piece who he was dating while his wife was ailing at the time. I also want to address this rapper named Consequence, whom went public about his health battles. However, he has a very misogynoir-filled past, and I feel it is imperative to learn from both of these situations where one deals with men who do not have the same wealth as you, and the other deals with the community trying to shame Black women into giving empathy and support to men that did not support you when they were at the top or when they have platforms that they can utilize to support you. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure you turn your notification bell on as well as liking the video, and let's get into my commentary. So the first person I'd like to start with is Consequence, who also goes by Cons, No Cap Cons, Quince, all these other whack names. But anyways, he is a rapper and a ghostwriter from Queens, and he
That's what I don't get is why is it always that they're listening to rappers for cultural knowledge? I will never understand that. It gets on my nerves.
In 1996. He appeared several times on A Tribe Called Quest's 4th album, Beats, Rhymes, and Life. He is also a cousin of rapper Q-Tip. He has since released his own solo projects, but he is most notably known for working alongside Kanye. And they've had some feuds and fallouts, but they have since reconciled.
Let's not confuse genetic conquering over colorism. Let's not confuse the two, ladies and gentlemen.
In 2013, he was a supporting cast member of Love and Hip Hop New York Season 3. And his behavior on Season 3 is what even prompted me to make this video. So let's fast forward to today. Recently, he has made some posts where he was talking about being body shamed because he lost a significant amount of weight. And I want to read you guys this post. I was body shamed when I posted this pic on August 17th. I was approximately 113 pounds. And some a-hole said I look like an old junkie. Lupus and diabetes has been kicking my A for 7 months straight. But oddly enough, I was getting better as 2 weeks before that I was 105 pounds and my sugar was in the 500s from being on steroids. But I was determined to wish my son Caden happy birthday because as you can see, it could have been the last time. God's will is God's will. This is my story and I'm telling it my way. Wait till you see me in a picture now. Now let me preface before I really lay out my supporting evidence for why I don't F with him or his baby moms. I can honestly say I did not wish ill on Consequence. I really don't wish ill, diseases, despair, etc. on colorist, misogynoir-filled men. The only thing that I do is make sure that I withdraw my support if I did support them. Obviously, I ain't supporting him because I don't even know his music. He's really irrelevant, and me making this video is going to be probably the most relevant he has received in about 7 years. But what I can say is that these are debilitating illnesses, and it's unfortunate unfortunate that a person can not only suffer from one, but they are experiencing a bit of comorbidity. And even if you are a person that doesn't have misogynoir, you can acquire these diseases. You can be the most God-fearing person, the most nicest, selfless, philanthropic individual, and you can still acquire some sort of disease or inherit some sort of disease. But with me saying that, just because a person is riddled with some sort of illness does not absolve them of any wrongdoing, pain, or trauma that they have inflicted into another human being's life. I'm just not under that belief that, oh, well, this person is sick, so that means that all is forgiven, all is well, let me go ahead and give my support to you. That's not the case at all, especially considering that you got this anti-Black baby moms, and you also have contributed to why there is rampant colorism within the industry and also within the Black community and the world. So let me tell you guys what I was going to speak about.
Kim Lee Moon, I love you, girl, but I'm under the impression and understanding from my research that when whites, you have to remember Alexander the Great. He conquered the world. When whites conquer you, they understand genetics. They begin a process called whitewashing. This is a known fact. Colorism is a byproduct of this tactic that is picked up. The definition says that that is prejudice by your own racial or ethnic group. So how can whites be colorism towards Blacks if we're both in different racial groups? What you think, Torch? What you think so far, what I'm saying?
It's complicated. I'll be honest with you. I have not done a deep dive into the science of colorism, how it came about and everything like that. Especially as it pertains to Black women, because as a Black man, I can say that I've experienced very little colorism versus racism in itself, if you know what I mean.
Get it?
I very rarely had some guy say, "Oh, well, you're too dark to play on our team," or something like that. You know what I mean? I just never had that issue.
They're confusing colorism with genetic annihilation. There's two different things. The definition of colorism, I wrote it down. So we have to know the meaning of words. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So by that definition, where do whites fit in this definition of colorism?
Okay, here, I think this is the argument they're trying to come up with. Let's see if I can get that done. There we go. This is their argument, which is one of the first forms of colorism was slave owners deciding that only light-skinned and enslaved people would work in the house, while the darker-skinned ones were subjected to harsh conditions in the fields.
Like I said before, they understand genetic annihilation. If they're lighter, if I'm a white boy and I sleep with a lighter woman, the odds of this baby coming out more white favors me. They've been doing this since the 2nd century. They understand genetic annihilation. Now, the term colorism that affects Black women, we didn't get this from white men. It's predicated on the Black male who abused us through colorism.
You know what I think? I think we really have two brands of colorism.
We sure do.
We have the historical one, and then we have the one that actually pertains to
us, that affect us in our day-to-day life. It affected that young girl, and she's in the 2nd grade. Come on now. You can't blame whites on that.
No. Basically, believe it or not, this is what I've noticed about how white men think and date when it comes to Black women. This is what I've seen. This is not a myth. Caucasian men care less about hair, about whether your hair is straight or not. They care less about how dark your skin is or not than Black men do. I know it sounds crazy, but the reason why is because when a Caucasian male is looking, or let's just say a non-Black male is interested in a Black woman, right? They know they have options, but there's something about that woman they sincerely like. There is a fetish group, yes. However, beyond that, they like the woman the way she is right there. And it sounds weird, but it's because they know they have other options, but for some reason they are attracted to that woman. The way
But guess what, Torch? There's this TikTok couple of a Black woman. She's very, very dark. She has a white husband. She has about, I want to say, 8 children. None of those children are dark. None of them. You can't even tell that they are mixed. These people understand genetics. You have to go look at Mexico in the 1100s. Please, BC. Go do some historical research of what they did in Mexico. We can't keep blaming white people for everything. I do not blame whites for colorism. Now I'm open for education as well. If something that I don't know, if you wish to tell me, I'm open. If you disagree, that's cool. But as it pertains to the Black community, these males are the forefathers of it. So, Torch, let me ask you this. When it pertains to colorism in the Black community, how great of a tool is it, and who has used it the most?
Black men.
And how great of a tool is it?
Well, it's a tool that's used to obviously manipulate other women. So it's worked pretty well.
So it's a psychological tool.
Correct. Because basically, when it comes right down to it, a light-skinned Black woman can be more Black than a dark-skinned Black woman, depending on, her upbringing or her frame of mind. There can be a light-skinned Black woman who is super pro-Black, right? Mm-hmm. And there can be a dark-skinned Black woman who's a good example would be Candace Owens.
They had a lot of those in the Black Panther movement.
Yeah,
they had a lot of them.
But you see where I'm going with this, right? So it's really not just because somebody is dark doesn't mean they're super Black, and it does mentally super Black, and just because of a Black woman who's light is lighter doesn't mean that she's not is not pro-Black either. It really doesn't matter. That's what I've seen back in the day. I mean, I've seen light-skinned Black women act, closer to their culture than a dark-skinned Black woman who wants to get out of her culture, which is fine. but you can't really use skin color as what is the word I'm looking for? As a telltale sign to somebody's, per se, blackness.
Now, remember the clip you saying that in Egypt, because they always want to go back to Egypt, right? These dudes. He said that in ancient Egypt, that's before Christ, that the darker you were, the more power you held, right, in the community.
Right.
But it's the total opposite in North America.
Correct.
I don't know anything about other, like South America. I don't know anything about that besides the little stuff that I research. But in North America, the darker you are means the evil you are. It highlights the bad. The more darker you are, the more stereotypical attributes are attached to you. In America. And we understand that it didn't matter if you were really dark, mid dark, half dark. When you were slaves, we all got treated the same. The house Negro too. I'm quite sure there was light-skinned men who were lynched, light-skinned women who got lynched. So miss me with that. What else you got, Torch? You know, you said something too that you said some Black women adapted and adopted colorism. Because I can account in school, like they treated fair-skinned girls better. They worshiped them. They did everything they could to be a part of the in crowd. Black women do it too. Just like you said, Black males want to be in proximity to whiteness. That's the same for Black women. They want to be in proximity to the lighter skinned woman because she gets more attention. She gets more favor. So yeah, they adopted it and adapted to what has been perpetrated against them for years. We can look at the celebrities. Why is Cardi B such an influencer in the Black woman's mind? And she's not even Black.
Very true.
But then they talk shit about Suki Hana and Sexy Red.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying they talk shit about Suki Hana and what's her name? Sexy Red. But then they just give, Black women just give Cardi B a pass.
Right, let me go forward with this.
Manager. So, you know, they have to have certain storylines, etc. She and Consequence were supposed to do a rap song together. The name of the song was Redbone, and he laid down his lyrics. And L'Oreal was not messing with his lyrics because he made this line where he said, light skin is the right skin. So you and your white friend. I want to let you guys listen to this audio clip of him making these statements and L'Oreal choosing to not work with him because of it.
So, you know, I decided to go talk to Rocky about the record because, one, she is a female DJ. She keeps it real, and she has brown skin. So it would be interesting to know what she thinks about his lyrics. What's going on? I went in the studio with Consequence the other day. I don't know, you tell me your opinion on it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Mm-hmm. He says in the first lyric, it's like light skin, the right skin, so you and your white friend. Bring that back. The what skin is the right skin? I wasn't sure. You know, like, what do you think about that line being in there? I mean, you know, music is subjective.
That's basically how the majority of black men today think. Some might be too ashamed to say it, but that's what they think. I mean, we're talking about the hip hop culture, which is probably the strongest culture. It might even compete with religion. That's how strong the hip hop culture mentality is. Like it or not, its ideology is very strong in the black community.
Yeah, and then you got these racial ambiguous women on television creating this stereotypical narrative of black women.
Right.
And their percentage of melanated DNA is at a low.
Objective, but that's a bit much coming from my brother. Just hearing about this record brought me right back to the same spot I was at with Jen. Sis, BS. So I had to let L'Oreal know she's gonna play herself if she puts this out. I don't know about that record, B. Me and this girl went through something about this whole white skin. She turned her back on me and says, don't worry about it, I'm gonna get my own job before you because I'm white.
I can't believe she said no like that.
Yes.
Did you say something to him about it?
I did. He didn't budge. He didn't blink. And I was like, yo.
That's the same reaction I got out of him when I told him what he said was offensive.
She's his white Nubian queen.
So I say this, Torch, we BWE, right? If you ever, as a black woman, participated in any colorism tactics, whether it's from junior high, high school, please go repent and ask yourself for forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Because in order for us to move forward into the empowerment stage, because we got black women down. We got that. We understand that. We have to forgive ourselves for the treachery that we committed and commits towards other women. Straight up.
I'm comfortable with that. Like,
I mean, if it offends you,
who else is gonna offend?
Yeah, do some.
Hey, you really definitely put a bomb on me with this. Hines has been getting himself in trouble with his mouth lately, so if he doesn't change that lyric, I'm out.
I think you're good on your own. My opinion.
I've been going back and forth with myself about doing this record with Khan. But after speaking to Rocky, I decided I was going to sit down with him and ask him to change that lyric. First of all, I want to say I respect you as an artist.
Appreciate it.
You know, I would hate for somebody to really come to me and be like, take that line out, that's like this. But at the same time, some people can take that offensive.
Well, what are you offended by?
Cause come on, you got to think about it. Light skin's the right skin. So you and your white friend.
When you live the life I live, you can say some of the things I say. I've been on tour. You, and the white one.
Yo.
The only time I change lines is when the party promoter.
Hey, you know what's funny is look at him.
That nigga ugly.
Yeah, and he's trying.
He
to
look
act
like the bottom of a construction boot. If you don't get the hell up out of here.
You know, that's what's crazy.
He look like a blowfish.
Why is it always the most torn up dudes insulting women the most? I don't get it.
Because it's a tool that they need. I'm telling you, without the black woman, their masculinity would not be substantiated. Without you, without me.
I mean, the funny thing is this, and I know I'm going off. You know.
Bridget, no, he three-tone. That nigga got bags around his eyes. He looked like he got alopecia.
Yeah.
He looked like he got eczema. The teeth too big. He looked malnutritious. Like, come on now.
And it's really not about him being, you know, whatever skin color. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how he looks, but how he looks versus the insults or the pickiness he has when he's stating his preference. Light skin is the right skin. Look at this fool. Medium dark at best.
He medium rare. He well done. And he overcooked.
He looks like that D's Nuts dude, actually.
Torch, this dude is 3-tone. He got 3 different skin tones. He needs to go get some of that shea butter to even his ass out.
Oh man.
He need that shea butter. He need that shea butter. But these chicks too weak to clown his ass. They've been clowning us for 300 years.
I mean, look at him. I just had to stop. I mean, it just baffles me. It seems like I don't know. It just seems weird.
Look at his head, Torch. His head darker than his forehead. Miss me. Come on now.
Make some mistake and have me on a regular people line. Cause I'm VIP, darling. I don't change lines for nobody.
I'm just talking about this one particular thing. I ain't say you could say whatever else you want to say.
In my opinion, I would never take that line out.
You got to think about it like, you got fans that are brown skin. You get what I'm saying? And they listen to this back
They're gonna think.
They're gonna be like, they're talking about brown skin or whatever the case. And people gonna feel away about
they
that.
They can feel however they feel. The reason why you say light skin is the right skin is for controversy. If they don't feel nothing, if you don't invoke thought, you lost. This is rap.
You know, it seems like what I'm saying to Khan is not getting through to him. And I'm sorry, but if he wants to stand...
Remember now, rap originally back in the day was supposed to be the most Afrocentric, next to R&B, the most Afrocentric genre ever. Other than...
And who is this dude? Like, is his songs charting? Like, miss me.
I can't.
She's sitting up there trying to negotiate with a guppy. She needs to watch. Come on, give me $1,000, miss, and I show you how to really negotiate with a guppy.
Man,
that nigga look like a copperfish.
I mean, see, again, folks, look, you know, I wouldn't say I'm super duper Denzel Washington or nothing. But
you look better than him. No cap.
It's just, I can't see why is it every time we look up somebody, right, Cyber? Every time we look them up.
Why is his shoulder so close to his neck, Torch?
Mr. DJ Music in the house. Good seeing you. Golden Goddess. Good seeing you.
These dudes look like they weak as hell, like real grown women, like masculine looking men. We just don't like masculinity. We want you to look like you masculine. We want them broad shoulders. We want them chest nipples not touching each other, bruh. We don't want men with hips. Oh my God. I do not date a man with hips. You can't have no damn hips messing with me. Nigga with hips. Come on now.
He's gonna wish that he never said all that.
I will roast that nigga for free, Torch.
There he is.
Look at this nigga. How is his head bigger than his whole? I told you he looked malnutritious. I told you.
And see, the thing is this. I can't stress this more. He's talking smack about black women, saying that light skin is the right skin. But look at him. That's the problem.
He look like E.T., yo. Phone home. He need to go get with Elon Musk and go to Mars. We don't want his ass. Go to Mars. See if your DNA will be accepted. He ain't got top tier DNA.
True, that is true.
Some sort of disease or inherit some sort of disease. But with me saying that, just because a person is riddled with some sort of illness does not absolve them of any wrongdoing, pain, or trauma.
Let me switch it up a little bit.
White women love black men because of the power dynamic, because white women have never had any power over men in their lives. Because obviously all the white men in their lives have always had all the power over them. So white women have whiteness over black men. And obviously to be in any sort of like control feels good, especially when you're used to never being in control.
Tell me you're a racist without telling me you're a racist. When you live with this woke worldview, all you can do is inject your racial stereotypes onto everybody, even two people who are in a loving relationship. Does it ever cross your mind that maybe two people can love each other without even thinking about their race, without even taking that into account? Mind-blowing, I know. She goes on to make a slave and a slave master comparison in these relationships, and it's utterly disgusting. Get your head out of the past and move yourself to the present, where we've progressed as a society.
Why is it that?
So
You know what, Torch?
Mm-hmm.
The whites are already coming to grips with the fact that this race stuff that they created is detrimental to their existence. Before the establishment of in 1619, you guys need to know that people of the world dealt with everybody. Before the transatlantic slave, before the Arab slave, before all of this, people traded, they married, and they dealt with everyone. They migrated wherever they wanted. It was about what tribe you were from, what clan you was from, how much of skills you had. But when they came here, you just got to do the history. When they came here, these are rejected people. So in order to feel superior, they had to come up with these narratives and these sentiments and stuff like that. But they're feeling the brunt of it. Because right now in media, they get blamed for everything. It's taking a toll on their psychosis. This is why laws are being changed.
Exactly.
Why is it that black men prefer either white girls or Spanish girls?
I think
the way
men
that I
just
see
like
it,
what they like.
So
You know what
why
I'm
is it that
saying?
we
Like-
see that, like, we hear about that, like a thing, like black men don't want to date black
Because
women?
it's easier for the media to paint black men as
the
this,
bad guy.
the bad guy. They say, who's stealing out here? Black men. Who's out here? Black men. Who's cheating out here? Black men. It's just everything.
Like black
we're the
men, black women
customer.
at an 87% rate, but y'all want to focus so much
I
on the
never knew
other
that.
percent.
I
like,
never knew that.
most black men in America marry black women.
So why are most black women single?
That's a lie.
That's a different conversation.
I just read the Census Bureau that 57 point something black men have never been married, and 37.8 of black women have never been married.
Boom.
These guys have no comprehension.
All right.
These people are unintelligent, low IQs.
Well, folks, this is going to end part one. We're going to have part two. And part two is going to be strictly, it's going to have a couple videos here and there just for reference. But after that, it's going to be strictly a full panel. So we can have a debate over colorism. It's a big subject. I feel like we need to have a full panel to do it. And that's what we are going to do. Expect to probably see it scheduled for the next week, no later than 2 weeks from today.
Next
Cyber
week, because
you-
I'm on vacation. Y'all want me to
Okay.
get some questions together? Because I know how to
Absolutely.
create some questions that are non-biased. I'm taking my own brain out of it.
Okay, perfect. You know something? In fact, I'm going to let you run with it.
Okay.
And I'll set
Next
it.
week.
Sounds good. No, let me know that. Just you know, you got my email. Send me everything I
Monday,
need to
Tuesday,
do.